Alright, so we finally finished our last deck for our G.I. Joe carrier slash ship slash flag, whatever we decide to call it. As you can see, comparison-wise, that's my 6-year-old son standing next to it. His head comes above the top layer of the deck there, and there's a C-130. You can see it's practically dwarfed by the size of this thing. So here it is, the top of the deck. You've got the C-130 with a stealth carrier on there. It's loaded with a whole bunch of crazy legs. So again, when we buy, we do army build in order to actually build armies. And then what do we do with the armies once we get them, boys?
Do battles?
We do battle with them. That's right. So we actually play when we army build. They don't sit on a shelf somewhere. The BBI 21st Century Avenger, absolutely gorgeous and expensive ship. It almost fell off the shelf. Thank goodness it's got a platform now. And at the very end, a BBI Blackhawk and the Tomahawk. So you can see just how long and how wide this thing is. It's 30 inches wide and about 8 feet long. Another caveat, this is not a diorama. This is a huge play set. We designed this to actually be able to play on it. So you can see on some of the lower levels here, it's going to be a mess. There's stuff everywhere. There's parts and pieces. Yes. There's things there's storm shadows mixed in with these guys. There's some helmets and stuff like that. It's because my boys are constantly playing this thing. Nothing is ever left in place, which is exactly what it's supposed to do. Also, we built the upper decks, but as you start going level by level, you'll see there's more and more details. It's because the older decks have more detail, and the newer ones, like the one we just built, which is up here, you'll see that it's just walls and some bare bones in there. So we're at the front of the ship here. Tristan made this room. T, why don't you describe what you got here?
We have a few guys working it.
What room is this?
It is the engine room.
The engine room, yep.
Yeah. There is a ion reactor.
Antimatter.
Yeah. There's cords here. Back here, my dad found this to put in. I put a pipe here. I put in this machine for no reason.
It's okay. Good job,
There's a computer and another cool machine. And this guy's just working on something.
Yeah, it looks like some engineering here. So we've got, and then Finn is working my other lights here. Dude, you're doing a great job, Finn. And then Finn, why don't you go ahead and show them how that door works right there. Yep, so we built it so we can slide those right in. So it's locked out if we want to, seal off the engine room, right? And we can still play on the inside of this. So this is unique because it's on the end, so we could block off the side unlike the whole rest of the ship here. And we can leave the ends open for play in there too. And then we'll show you the next room here. We have to pause because it's dinner time. Let's go eat. Mama says it's dinner. Let's get dinner. All right, moving right along in our guided tour here. I'm going to come in real close into each of the rooms here quickly. I am going to be moving fast because YouTube doesn't like long videos. So if you see something that you really want to know more about, make a comment. I will absolutely post more pictures about it, or I will do a separate video entirely just for that. But I really just want to capture the whole build process of what this thing is. So I'm going to go ahead and just move room by room here and quickly try to explain it. So on the 4th level, this is the engine room, backside facing us. I don't like making enclosures like that, but for this case, it really works out because we have that door and the engine on the aft. And then here's our first room here. This is what my boys put together. This is their characters' rooms. They just put a bunch of random stuff in there. But really the takeaway is that back access right there. You can see you've got a Joy Toy figure kind of hanging out an interior side passage there. And you've got this guy that's leading into the deeper part of the ship there. So we cut out a lot of the longer hallways for playability and made some side accesses there. It's hard to reach through a 30-inch ship in order to get to the opposite side. So for playability, we added some more zigzags into the interior. Moving ahead, we've got a little micro maintenance bay here with the Joy Toy maintenance team. Absolutely love these dudes. Wanted to give them their own space. We're going to keep adding some benches and workshops in there for them. And coming from their bay, we've got our only long hallway that's on this floor. So you can see you've got a room here, very empty. I'm not sure we're going to put in there an internal cut, and then it goes into that deep hallway space there. Really hard to get lighting in there. I don't have any internal lights in there. I'll move this up. You can see, and again, we made some side passages that go in internal. You can see where Big Brawler standing there in the doorway. That cuts down on the length that your arm has to go through to play with, something I didn't do on the earlier levels. I'm not a genius by any means, but this is one of the more clever things that I've done with these sliding doorways here. I got the idea from Tactical tabletop board games, Zombicide specifically, just some awesome doors. You can slide in and out, shut down areas, block off Xenos from attacking you. They're so much fun. And then of course color coding them like old Doom, you know, yellow key, blue key, stuff like that. Just adds a whole nother level of play. The next room over here, we've got our Interstellar Joy Toys. Absolutely love these figures. Again, very bare bones room, just some lockers. And on the other side of these guys' room here, we've got another hall. So this is the one that my son helped me design here. It's got access on the front side, going both ways, but it also has this interesting interior twist. This is the room he was using the robot. When you saw it was just a raw plywood, unpainted. By the way, it bends around this corner. And so coming around and, oh, forgot these guys were in the way. Man, again, playing. There's the robot in the backside. So you can see how that L-shaped hallway kind of reaches all the way back there. And as you saw in the video, that took up my son's whole arm there. So basically equivalent of him putting his arm down a shark's mouth. And then this is the end of the ship here, leaving the front exposed. We're gonna make this part some sort of airlock. You can see I've got the acid rain space prisoner kind of tinkering away there, trying to fix some sort of EVA suit, power generator. I've got some electrical wire conduits here just hanging out. We'll put those on the ceiling once we actually get some lights in here. But that is the aft, bow, and I mean, you guys, port side, I guess. So we'll transition over to the starboard side. There's a cool Joy Toy little slide-in armor playset piece. Again, I'm using a lot of these slide-in functions because if I want to change the walls, they're not bolted in, they're not glued in place, and I can just swap them out as I need to. We're back over to the bow of the ship here. Really it's the aft because the engine's over here. We really need to get the heads and toes straight in this thing. But we've got our secret room here, which is really just a room that I only allowed one access in with a door. It's not, the walls on the outside aren't wide enough for any figures to get past. That way, it's only accessible by one door. So Tristan put a secret cargo container in there. I'm guessing it's probably gonna be some face hugger eggs that pop out there later. But coming around, you can see we've got some MPs blocking this off here. Another one of those I keep calling them cool. They're cool from my perspective. Sci-fi doors that you can just slide in, slide out there, right? So you can get access there. We can also take that out. We can put this in here, which is a little interior cut, which goes to our small cargo bay. So got a lot of boxes and stuff. It's not the most ideal when you logically think about where it is in the realm of the ship. I guess, you know, it's below the aircraft. It's above some of the E-frames here. Yeah, hey, X was gone. But I mean, you know, imagination. And that's that hallway that you can see connecting through. There's those two Joy Toy figures where that goes to the opposite end of the ship there. You've got that interior doorway. And then it kind of comes around here, and I've just got this big open room for right now. I really love these cavalry guys, so I put them in here. There's a console. They're kind of hanging around. All their gear's on the floor here. And moving into the next room, so you'll see that really these back rooms are just a series of open bays that we're going to use to store different teams in, right? So these are some of our more elite figures in there. These BBI cases are amazing. I've got 4 of those. You see some Marauder lockers back there. I do want to give a shout out to Urban Rev Toys, who made some of these fabric clothes for these figures. Absolutely phenomenal. He made that coat, that snakeskin one, and then this swamp spotter one here. So obviously, you know, you've got a 25th style figure and an O-ring figure there, versatile. And then again, an interior doorway there that leads over to our hall, the deep hallway here. Having that interior cut does help with playability and be able to move back and forth. Otherwise, it's just one long, deep 30-inch hallway there, which is really hard to maneuver. And from the hallway, we transition into another barracks room here. Big open space, still need to fill it up with some furniture, some dudes, Appleseed figure. And you can see where that Joe is right there with a split in the wall. That leads over to the last bay here, which just looks like a house that the Grinch has visited right at Christmas. This guy just hanging out there being like, what in the... but we did start putting some features in here. Again, those aren't glued in. It's just some sort of workbench table. Same as this little console here. They slide in, slide out, because we don't want anything fixed to the deck, because when we move, we have to break everything apart, and that's just painful.